Well, folks, we made it to season 7. Welcome to the Vulnerability Time podcast. I am your host, Josias Abriel, and published author. Speaking of published author, before the episode starts, make sure to go check out my books. They're available on Amazon, and the link is in the episode description below. Go ahead, get you some healing. One's a poetry book about overcoming pain and trauma and stuff like that, and then the other one's a self-awareness interactive journal notebook. So get you some healing. You're worth it. Another thing that you're worth all the love in the world. You're worth all the healing in the world, and I'm glad that you're here with us today to heal together. You are loved, you are valuable. This is your sign. Alrighty, enjoy the episode. Bye, folks. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Vulnerability Time. I am your host and published author, Josias Abriel. With us today, we have Amy. And folks, we'll be talking about, well, first, before I get into what we will be talking about, y'all can see it in the title. Let's meet Amy. Amy, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on. I know y'all can't see her right now, but her hair looks fabulous, and I'm here for it.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for our conversation today.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about you, any credentials you have, like, or things of that nature, what hobbies you like to do, things like that.
Well, how much time do we have, Josiah?
Right?
No, I will keep it brief. My name is Amy Lennius, and I think I deeply believe have found my forever home in Next Level University. That is the company I partner with currently in the most recent work that I have done over the last few years, and it is just my favorite. And I over there am the leader of group coaching. We do so much in that space. I love that one. That's probably the closest to my heart and the closest on my mind because that call is right after this one. So we have group coaching, which I love. I am the facilitator of that experience. I have my own coaching program through Next Level University where I get to help mostly women just find their peace, their passion, their purpose, and to stay fulfilled and centered and honoring their cyclical nature still throughout that. I think that's really important. So that's some of my work that I do. And we just dive into as much free personal development value as well as possible. We do book clubs, we have monthly meetups. The three of us, Kevin, Alan, and myself, do podcasts as well as just a part of our how can we add as much free value to the world. And it has been a beautiful journey and a struggle of a journey as well. I think all journeys are to get me to this place, but it is genuinely just my favorite home that I have found, where it is a safe place to grow, to fail forward, to discover, to also shine. And I think that that is also a space that is so important, where you feel safe to actually do well and excel and be celebrated. Because I know a lot of us struggle with that as well. And so that is my current space of operation, and I guarantee it will be my forever home.
I love that. I love to hear that. Amy, is there I really love to hear that. That makes me happy knowing that, because I don't know, I feel like I've been seeing a lot of just like when I turn on the news, which I stay far away from the news, but lately when I've been turning on the
Same.
news, there's just been a lot of like I've just seen a lot of hate like in multiple places, so to hear such good news. It just is a reminder that, there is good things still out there, and just because I don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. I needed that reminder. So literally, like I just had a conversation with someone literally right before this with one of my good friends, and I was telling them about how, I'm just I just feel like I'm not seeing enough good in the world,
Mm.
So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for, being a part of that.
Oh, well, thank you for what you are doing. I feel that way as well. When I go into the external world, I'm very fortunate to deal with so many beautiful people online and virtually. But I think even especially working with podcasters, what a beautiful thing, because most podcasters are just heart-driven humans trying to put a message out into the world or to
Yeah.
support someone in a way that they didn't feel supported early on, or to give them a voice. And just, it's genuinely one of my favorite things to interact with people like yourself. So thank you.
Yes, I received that. I received those compliments. Amy, do you have any workout, any websites, any links that you wish to send or anything?
I am happy to honestly connect with anybody over social media. It's just at Amy Lennius on Instagram and Facebook. We do have a free growth oriented daily self awareness Facebook page called Next Level University. Anyone who is growth oriented and just looking for a safe space for daily self awareness, I am in there every day. And yeah, that would just be the most simplistic way for sure.
Yes. Well, that's fabulous. So, folks, Amy, if you can, after this call, send me those links so I can put in the
I
episode description
will.
below so people can check out and support because we love to support over here. Um, yes, and Amy, I'm gonna have your episode available and be released. If not tonight, tomorrow morning, but I will let you know. Yeah, I'll just have it released. I figured why wait to add
Oh, I love
healing to the
that.
world.
Well, tag me and I'll share it everywhere.
Yes, yay! Okay, so folks, um, so today we'll be discussing with Amy, about navigating chronic illness because it's to my understanding, Amy navigated chronic illness since she was young, um, and it kind of put her on this lifelong journey. And something really important that she said, the lifelong journey of healing, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So, and
Mm.
then it also led her on a path, which I'll let her share. But first, I would like to discuss and hear more about your journey, Amy, if you could share
Yeah,
it with us.
I, like you said, started off very ill, early puberty, just chronic illness, although it didn't get diagnosed until later on. It was very female driven. It's called endometriosis.
I heard of
And
that. Yeah.
so very hormonal driven, very cyclical driven. And so, of course, I was met with a lot of, oh, this is just you becoming a woman. Welcome to womanhood. This pain is totally normal. All of those beautiful things that can be said to you. And it took a long time for me to get a diagnosis of endometriosis. So for a long time, I just felt very alone, very sad, very broken because, again, yes, all the other young women were struggling with this transition time as well, but not as much as I was, especially even in the off weeks of my cycle. And so it was a hard push for a diagnosis, but I did end up getting one. And then it was years of surgeries and medications and just this bleak outlook I was given of, oh, you're going to have this for the rest of your life. There's nothing we can do. You probably won't be able to have children. And, eventually you're going to hit menopause. And then there's that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. This all sounds dreadful. So I was in a hard place mentally for a little while there, especially when I was told I couldn't have children. That was a big devastation for me. I was someone who
Right.
always wanted children. When you got asked in school, what do you want to be when you grow up? My answer was always a mom. And they're like, no,
Yeah.
like as a career. I'm like, uh-huh.
Oh,
I said what I said.
yeah.
I was very career driven back there. I had these dreams of motherhood. And so I was in my early 20s when I just had this moment of clarity. I was like, you know what? I need a break. I need a break because I'm
Mhm.
on all of these drugs. I've done all of these things that I have been told to do, and I'm still in pain almost every day. So, what if I just went off of everything safely, do that safely, and got back into getting to know my body again and what was working, what wasn't, what are we doing here?
Mhm.
And so I did. I safely came off of everything. I started exploring different modalities of health and wellness, different practitioners, and I found just this beautiful way of healing. It did take time. It's still something I have to work on every day. And if, you're looking for something that's, oh, here was this magical pill that I took and I'm fixed, it's definitely not that kind of story. And I don't think many are. But I think if you can find something that works for you and then stick to it, but also have the capacity and the capability to stick into the journey that is finding what works for you. Because again, even in the chronic illness space, if you have endometriosis, my journey might not look the same as your journey because we're all very different as physical beings. And so it was a journey to find what worked for me for what didn't. But I really started embracing the word holistic about what inside our body is a community. I kept getting looked at as just this separate piece. Like, oh, here's this piece we want to talk about and address and do surgery on and potentially take out of your body. And I was never talked to until I expanded out of the medical system. And I was finally looked at as, hey, how's your liver doing? How's your gut health doing? What is your stress like?
Mhm.
And as we started to address those kinds of things, I started to become less and less inflamed, less and less in pain.
Mm.
And then I had this beautiful woman talk to me about, okay, well, what's your external environment doing? Oh my goodness, we're also connected just as much to our external environment. It physically affects us as how we are physically doing affects our external environment.
Mm.
And so then to go through that, detox all of that, it just painted this really beautiful picture for me. And I started falling in love with the word holistic because I think as much as we would love to put certain things in boxes, like separate our career from our spouse and from our relationships or motherhood from our career or anything like that, they're always going to feed one another, just like our bodies do. And so that is something that as I healed and did my own healing journey, and then I do have a background myself in anatomy and physiology. So then I started helping more women, speaking on stages and getting asked to share my story and what I was doing. I created a holistic healing for your hormones presentation, told women exactly what I was doing naturally, and eventually created my own program, more monthly or more public speaking. And actually when I ended up falling in with the guys at NLU, they asked if I would come on and be their MC
Mm.
for their live event initially. And then again, I just started seeing this bigger picture where, yes, I can help women with their health, but if they don't have the self belief and the self worth that I did initially and have now even been able to grow, it turns out they can't take those steps.
Mhm.
And so that has just been the most incredible part of the journey, which is always in hindsight. It's 2020,
Right, right.
hindsight's always 2020. Is like, well, why, when I was helping these women, giving them all the tools, the exact things that I did, why they couldn't stick with it or take that on themselves. But belief and worth
Mm.
drive every journey. And
Mhm.
we will always hit a cap of the level of our self-belief and self-worth, whether it be financial success in relationships, a health journey. And I realized I was missing just this huge piece. And as I started working with the guys, I started seeing it all come together. And I was like, oh, these guys have something special here. Initially, they called it holistic self-improvement, but we got tired of explaining to people what that meant. So now it's just personal development. And then we take people on the deep dive through there. But again, they said holistic self-improvement. I was like, oh, I love that word.
Yes.
Yes, health, wealth, life, and love. Absolutely. They all go together. And so they started preaching just all of these beautiful things about the holistic of the human. I was like, oh, I need to learn from these guys. And again, I learned self belief here. I learned self worth here. And I was able to look back and say, oh, that's what my women needed. They needed to not only believe it was possible through witnessing my journey, but to believe it was possible for them. They needed to find self worth because, especially people in the chronic illness space, it becomes a part of their identity. And all of a sudden, a part of
Mhm.
their brain does not allow them to feel worthy of feeling healthy.
Mm.
So we have to go through that hurdle too. And so now that I can again look back, I can see that those are just two of the most powerful pillars of any success journey. And now I talk about it as much as possible. Those two things combined with what it takes to be consistent. And I feel like it is just the greatest gift I can give the world is to speak about self-belief, self-worth, and consistency for the sake of whatever journey someone is on.
Yes. Wow. So you meant wow, that was beautiful. You mentioned something that stood out to me, was the self-worth and the self-belief um that for many people, myself included, you know, um was hard to do. Um Could you speak to what that process looked like for you? And like, did that happen the snap of a finger? Was it a big aha moment? Was it gradual over time? Like, what did that process, that road to self worth and self belief look like for you?
Yeah, so I can look back on my life and see where I was able to build self-belief and
Oh,
where
build.
I was nurtured into
Mhm.
self-worth for sure.
Mm.
So I luckily just had a beautiful childhood. Genuinely, my folks are the best. They're married and in love still and
Yeah.
a huge part of our life. So I grew up, in a very loving home. And I also grew up not only with sports, but with this illness where I kept having to push through regardless of being in pain and regardless of all the things to still have the experience of my youth that I had. And so looking back at that, I can see now that I understand how self-worth and self belief are built. I can see where I was building that along the way. And if you did not have a beautiful childhood, you can build these things. This is not something that is set in stone within us. I can look back at incidents where I would have built belief and built self-worth. But the beautiful thing is you are not stuck in how you are right now. If you do not have high self-belief and self-worth, that is okay. You can absolutely build it, and you can build it as like high and as far as you would love to take it. And so I think that's really important to say, because people look at my life, they're like, oh, well, I didn't have chronic illness to, persevere through that. And I didn't have a lovely childhood, so I'm doomed. It's like, we got you. We can do this. We can build self-belief and self-worth. And I deeply believe in doing little things every day to build it.
Yeah.
I believe in the compound effect so much, and I believe in sustainable growth so much, so that it builds into our identity along the way. And so if you can find little things to tap into, and I'm happy to share frameworks and how we can do that with you on this episode, if you can do these little things every day, you will be shocked at how after week, month after month, and then a year later, how different your physical, mental, emotional being can be.
Yes, that's as good. Share, for those of us listening, folks, strap in. We are about to get some healing. Can you share
I'm
with
excited.
us, at least one or two frameworks,
I
that you
will.
can
I
share?
will. So self-belief is an external game.
Mm,
Self-worth is an internal game. So
mm,
self-belief is, if I gave you enough time, energy, money to go learn how to build a house, you believe you could do that. You could go build the house, take the time you needed to learn how to do that, go brick by brick and make yourself this beautiful house physically in the external world. That is your belief in your capacity, your capability, and your competency externally.
mhm,
Self-worth is, what are you doing with that home once it's built?
mhm,
Are you letting people come in with their muddy boots? Are you taking
mhm,
care of the home and maintaining it the way it needs to be taken care of? Is someone coming in and disrespecting your house by spilling red wine on the carpets? Like, what
mhm,
is that looking like? And so self-worth is very much an internally driven game. Self-belief is external, what we can achieve. So that is the difference there. And self-belief is a very simplistic process, but it doesn't mean that it is easy.
mm,
Our brains, our minds, our limitations will always get in the way, but it is a simplistic process. It is 3 steps. If you can picture a triangle, 1, 2, 3, the first step is state. Say you are going to do something. Number 2 at the top is prove. Prove you can get that thing done.
mm,
And number 3 is self-assign. Have a moment that acknowledges and celebrates the thing that you said you would do. Even like self-belief and self-worth, they're both so important, but I deeply believe self-belief is slightly more important, because not only, you'll see in a couple minutes, is it the foundation of self-worth, but it just allows you to take action. And once you take action, it builds into your identity. I think we make the mistake sometimes of thinking, oh, I need to become a certain way before I can do these things, or but it's the opposite. You need to do the things. Do the things, and then you become the thing. And building self-belief is how you can do that. And so we can use just a simple example like laundry. I say I'm going to do the laundry today. I get the laundry done. I have a little moment where I'm like, okay, nice. I did the thing I said I was going to do. And there's 2 types of people. And again, there is no right or wrong, but which one are you? I want you assessing as you listen, because a lot of us struggle with number 3, the self-assigning, the acknowledging that we did the thing. And there's 2 groups of people. So first is going to be the person that said they were going to do the laundry, did the laundry, and then they get into this should shame spiral where they will not allow themselves to take that moment of, hey, I did the thing I said I was going to do. They will take the should path off the cycle and say, well, I should have done more. I should have folded it and put it away. I should have separated the colors from the whites better. Should. Shame. And you will not allow yourself to get to that acknowledging phase. And then there's the people who do say they're going to do it. They do it, and then they self-assign so hard. Oh my gosh, I got the laundry done today. I am the best. I never have to do laundry again. So they don't allow it to be a cycle, which laundry is. There's always laundry. So they don't allow the cycle to keep building, because they treat it like a one-off. So again, no right or wrong. Each one has its pros and cons, but maybe which bucket are you in? Where are you stopping yourself from allowing that self-assigning to build into the identity for the sake of continuing the cycle
Yeah.
of state-proof self-assign?
Mm, I have a question.
Right, Emmy?
So, okay, so let's say there's someone, I'm not saying this is me, but
Mhm.
I know of many people where this was the reality, what I'm about to say next. And honestly, it's so understandable. Um, so so let's say someone they have the self-worth and the self-belief, and like you said, someone comes along, and let's say that person, was good to the home. Okay, let me just say, like a breakup, a big breakup, whether that is, or how about this, either a breakup or loss, the loss of something close and someone intimate, something close to the person, and then it's like it. I don't know the other words. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if I should use this word, but it kind of like shattered it. What are how are ways like someone could rebuild with that? Or could you speak to that a little bit of like that reality being done to someone when it's like it's not necessarily like their like fault. It just something that just kind of happened with time.
Mhm.
Like the relationship died, the parent died, the dog died, the cat died, things like that.
Yeah, which is awful. If you are out there dealing with a breakup or grieving, I am very sorry.
Mm,
What I will say is, one, the more you can build your self-belief and self-worth, the less these things are
mm,
going to crumple your entire being,
mm,
especially breakups.
mm,
If you have high self-belief and self-worth, you are going to be able to move through that in a healthier, more aligned way than having it break you and feel like it is about you. I think when we go through a breakup, it's like, okay, well, it's obviously me. I'm the worst.
mm,
Whereas if you can build self-belief and self-worth and learn to act in integrity and in alignment in that, you can actually trust, "Hey, I did my best here."
mm,
And you'll be able to see where you didn't and
mm,
have the humility enough to say, "Hey, this is where I messed up," or "This is where I was lacking in this relationship, and here's where I didn't. Here's where it was on the other person."
mhm,
But if you have low self-belief, you're not gonna believe in your ability to gain another partner, so it's gonna feel like an extra loss if you feel like you cannot attract someone else. And if you have low self-worth, you are going to go into a hole where you deeply believe you deserved
mhm.
whatever happened, and it is very hard to get yourself out.
Yeah.
So building self-worth, again, if you are in that hole right now, building self-worth is your answer
Mhm.
because you will start to see yourself in this beautiful, empowered light
Yeah.
where you will not only trust that you will attract an aligned partner who you are 100% worthy of,
Mm, yeah.
but you will also not be at a detriment without one.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Grief is another one. Grief, again, hits us so differently, and it's always dependent on the type of person and the type of relationship you had, but you yourself will not crumble. You will be able to grieve without it being this detriment to who you are as the individual. We take breakups and we take grief on as like this piece of ourselves, and I do understand that. I do. I deeply understand that, especially if it's someone close to you because they are a piece of you. They are.
Mhm,
But you, with self-belief and self-worth, will move through this in a healthier way
mhm, mhm,
without it just being as detrimental as it could be without them. Because again, we just don't believe that we can get over it. We don't believe, and again, get over it is the wrong term for grief, maybe not for a breakup.
mhm. Right. Right. Right.
But you'll be able to move through it in an empowered way without suppressing,
Mhm.
without stepping around it. I think griefs and breakups bring on all of these emotions that feel negative,
Yeah.
right? There's this label of negative or positive emotions.
Mhm.
In reality, if you clump them together, they're all just emotions and they are
Yeah.
telling you something.
Yeah.
Emotions, feelings always have something to tell us, always.
Yeah.
And so if we're in the habit of suppressing them or sidestepping them without moving through them, we're missing a lot of messages there. And again, grief, there's so many emotions that come with that. And at the end of the day, it's a really beautiful thing because it's showing you how much you loved that person.
Mhm.
And you can keep it about the grief and the love and be able to believe in yourself enough to find support if you
Yeah.
need it, to feel worthy of investing in yourself if you need support to move through it. There's so much there. But you building self-belief and self-worth is going to help you navigate the world
Mhm.
and navigate these things that happen to us. Or life throws stuff at us all the time. But when you can become centered in yourself and really empowered and in aligned with your just highest beliefs, your core aspirations, your core values, all of these things, it helps you navigate these things in a healthier way rather than doing the things we do to suppress, to sidestep, to avoid.
Wow. 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 Very, very beautifully said. Very informative, very enlightening. Wow. Oh, I'm speechless.
Thank
I
you.
never really saw it like that. I also never really experienced that necessarily. But I know of many that have, and I was just like, it's clearly important. So I was like, before we started talking about it a couple minutes ago, I was like, I think I'm going to bring this up. I'm so curious to hear, Amy's thoughts on it. Um,
I love that you did. You know, no one, as much as I have talked about self-belief and self-worth, no one has asked me that question through that lens.
yeah. Oh.
So I didn't even know if I would know how to answer it genuinely. It's like, oh my gosh, good question. Here we go. Let's
Yeah.
see what comes out. But
Yeah.
I do believe in what I said, but it was just a beautifully framed question. So thank you. I've
Oh,
never been able to put it through that lens. So that was really awesome.
I received that compliment. You know what? Actually, okay. I'm gonna go back on my statement. I mentioned that I never experienced that necessarily. Okay. Turns out I have, just not in necessarily romantic sense. I was too in my mind, I got too focused on the romantic part. And it's like, I don't think I've ever experienced that. I was like thinking about that. But it was like, okay, turns out I have. So, but not in romantic sense. So mine came from a form of grief. So it took me years to develop and build, and I love that you mentioned the word build, self-worth and self-belief. Like, building is important, because when it comes to like a building, I see it as like it's not something that's done necessarily within a day. It's something
Yes.
that accumulates like over time. And it's like, if it was done in a day, would the building be as strong? Like, maybe it took, right. Yeah. So it's like that time, I just think about it. I was like, okay, if someone wants me to build a house in a day, I can build you a Lego house, but I mean, like, I'm sure a hurricane can damage
Yeah.
that.
How solid would that foundation really be?
Right, exactly. And so I love that you mentioned building, and I'm just like, okay, I love that analogy. So for me, and some may disagree with this, but in my life, I saw, looking back, in my childhood, I saw, um, kind of like I was, kind of like a building of, um, not having self-worth and not having self-belief. It seems like that was building in my life, in my childhood by, the people that were supposed to love me and show me self-worth, show me self, belief. Because as a child, you're like defenseless. You depend solely on um caregivers, whoever that may be. And so, they taught me, I feel like, as a kid, they built it for me. And I also began to build it myself, thinking that that was the norm, and of course, eventually I, died and came back to life. And that's when I got to, for those who are just now tuning in, I talk about it in previous episodes over the seasons. I don't remember what episodes. But yes, folks, I died when I was 15, went to the other side, and then came back to life. And by the other side, some people call it heaven. I don't call it that. I think that's very limiting from what I experienced. So I call it the other side, or I call it eternity, because it was just too great and massive to just be called. I don't know. I just was taught heaven as a very limiting thing. But what I experienced, I was like, whoa, this is amazing. But anyways, um, that kicked off my healing journey. And while I was on the other side, I knew worth. I knew self-belief. It's just like it was my essence, it was my being. And so I didn't know until that moment that what I was being taught by my parents was not that. Like I had nothing to compare it to. And so for me, of course, it took me a while to finally, you know, take down the unself-worth, the unself-belief buildings and build, self-worth and self-belief. And of course, there were times where, I built the building and it crumbled, and I built it back stronger, it crumbled, and I built it back again, and now I would say I'm in a pretty, I'm at a very, I'm satisfied, with the strength of the building. Um, Not saying that it's perfect. I don't know. I don't want to test a storm to come and
Mhm.
show, but I was just like, it's stronger than how it has been. So, but I just, remember though, as a kid, being taught everything that I'm not, and by that, I don't mean not in a good way, folks. I mean it in like, you're to this, or you're not enough of this. And hearing things like no one will ever love you, no one loves you, and when a child hears that over and over and over again, you know some may start to repeat that to themselves and carry it, and live their life according to what they were given. And I'm not blaming any child, folks. I will never blame a child, ever, ever, ever. They're a child. They don't know, and I mean, many adults, I just think that a lot of things happen. They started like to us. They didn't start with us. That makes sense. So there's no shame here, folks. Trust me. Like, I mean, yeah, no, literally no shame at all. Shame is totally out the window. Um, so I forgot what I was getting. I had a point, Amy. But I forgot what I was getting to, but I just could recall like oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So for me, um in a way, um and this might be controversial, but in a way, I had to grieve the loss of my parents. They
Mm.
were alive, but they chose not to be my parents. Now my brother, on the other hand, different story. They loved him, they all that. But for me, so I had to grieve the loss of my parents. And I went to therapy. I cried about it. I didn't know what else to do but to grieve as if they were no longer alive. And so in that grieving, I found so much pain and beauty in that grieving, because I was also, and I didn't realize it until I looked back on that healing process. I was also grieving the loss of my quote unquote norm, and that norm was those buildings of unself worth, unself belief, and of course, in a sense, that hurt just because it was my norm and I was releasing it, releasing those lies that I always thought was true, always thought was the normal. And then I get introduced to something different and having to unlearn and then learn again. So, so I mentioned that to kind of like throw myself under the Hummer limousine. I don't say under the bus. I like to be a little bougie sometimes and say throw myself
Love
under the
that.
limousine. Yes, it's just like wow, okay, I have actually experienced that. But folks, I will tell you it took a while, and there were moments where I was just like what's the point? I will say though, I'm glad I stuck through, but it was not easy. Like you said, it's can be simplistic, but doesn't mean it's necessarily easy. Yeah.
No, the
Yeah.
growth journey, if it was just linear, straight uphill from start to finish, more people would do it.
Yeah.
We would be walking around in a world with more people who are more emotionally intelligent,
Mhm.
self-aware, have higher self-belief and self-worth. But a lot of people give up because it is hard. And that's why I struggle when you see certain people out there where it's like, no, growth is all sunshine and rainbows and love and light. And like, yeah, that's a part of it. That a
Right.
part, that's part of it, but some of it's really messy. Like you said,
Right.
those pieces of you had to actually break down, those
Yeah.
beliefs that weren't serving you, those maybe those even values, things you grew up with, as well as the future you had maybe not maybe, you had to grieve a potential future that was now denied to you, that you have no control over because it involved other people.
Right.
And you almost had to grieve that projection of a possible future in advance
Mm.
and start from scratch. And that is messy and it
Yeah.
takes tears and it takes grieving and it takes.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think, yeah, if people are listening to too much of, oh no, it's all love and light, it's all sunshine and rainbows, and they have a hard day, they're like, I can't do this. This
Yeah.
is not for me.
Yeah.
When in reality, if you're having a hard day, a hard moment, a really hard look at something you've done, said, believed that maybe isn't true for you anymore, or maybe you realize never was and you were living it, that is the journey. You're probably doing something right. Those hard moments make me so proud of people, but sad for people when they give up thinking that it's not, they must be doing something wrong because they see people online who are just like, just living this happy go lucky life because of, they follow these XYZ steps. And if it sucks, if it's hard, then it's wrong. I don't believe in that whatsoever.
Right. Right.
So even as something as simplistic as state proven self-assigned, say you're going to do it and self-assigned, celebrate the thing that you
Yeah.
did that is so challenging if you are starting from a place of low self-belief. And if you have a brain that says, no, that is not something you should celebrate. I have women, shit you not, where I am telling them I need them to do this formula for when they brush their teeth. Twice a day, you're running this formula. Oh, but I can't celebrate doing my teeth. That's just stuff I have to do. I should be doing. I'm like, no, that's why we have to do it. Because your brain will literally not allow you to even see the bigger, more beautiful things that you do, even sometimes every day.
Mm.
But if you're only celebrating the big things, the big acknowledgments in life and the big wins that you hope come along, it's not going to work. You're not building that into your identity. It's too sporadic. It has to be stuff you do every day.
Yeah.
And so that's why I use examples like laundry. That's why I
Yeah.
get people to work through
It's beautiful.
it with teeth brushing and self-care and reflection on what they did.
I am sorry for that, folks. My laptop totally had a mind of its own. I'm pretty sure I did something wrong, and I'm pretty sure I did something wrong. I'm still, y'all know this is a new laptop, and I'm trying to figure out stuff. But we're back, folks. So Amy, please continue to what you were saying.
Where did I get cut off?
Yeah,
Ish.
you literally got cut off like at the beginning. Like when you were responding. Literally, no, literally like as soon as you started responding, it's like it waited for you to start speaking for it to cut off.
Well, I love that.
I love that.
I love everything that you're doing right now. This is something that is actually high self-belief of you to just keep going and to, make it work no matter what, even if it's messy. And so I just appreciate and value you for showing up. This is amazing. So we were talking about self-belief and not being able to self-assign and just the staircase of the highs and lows and how important that is. I think it's really important that we understand that this is a journey.
Yeah.
If you're climbing a mountain, there are plateaus, there are highs and lows, there are dips and valleys, and your growth journey is going to be the same. But if you can start, that's what we're talking about. If you can start building this into your identity every day with the little things, even give yourself credit for the things that you're already doing every
like a
day.
toothbrush.
Oh, you are going to build so much self-belief because I guarantee you are doing more in a day than you are allowing your brain to give you credit for.
Yeah.
And so the more you can say you're going to do it first, again, if you're an overthinker, that's the one you struggle with the most. So that's the one you want to put the most intention into. If you're a perfectionist, you struggle with number 2 the most. You struggle with that prove because it's never going to be good enough if you don't, you can't do it unless it's good. So I just give you so much permission for messy action and to embrace progress over perfection. Perfection has no place in progress because progress is so messy. Action is so messy. Journeys and learning something new. Again, like what if we told our kids when they were fumbling to learn to walk, like, well, you fell, it's probably not for for you.
Right.
No, you are the same in this journey. Give yourself all of the grace that you need and the permission to take messy action
Yeah.
so that you can take the action.
Yeah.
And then start assigning, self assign, self celebrate, whatever makes the most sense to you. Again, some people are overt celebrators. I have people who do a little dance, sing a little song. I myself am a more subtle being. I just have this moment of nice.
Yeah.
Hey, I said I was gonna do this thing. Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, I did it. And sometimes it even like if you wanna start a list and check things off as you go, or I even have people make the list after they've done it. Okay, list off the things that you did and then put a little check beside them so you start getting that dopamine and you start getting that just
Yes.
awareness and recognition. Because what happens if we're only building this into our identity when the big moments happen, we're gonna have an identity crisis. We're not gonna believe we're capable, worthy of the thing that happened to us
Yeah.
or the thing we achieved. We're going to get that imposter syndrome because we didn't build the identity intentionally along the way.
Yeah.
So, state proven self assigned. Keep as many promises to yourself as you can, and you will start to build self belief.
Yes. That is so beautiful. That is beautiful. Amy, I have one thing left to say. I just feel it's on my heart to say this. Um, because so for anyone out there who is like me, who's been sexually abused, physically abused, okay. I know self-worth can seem impossible to us. It seems like something that's not even a part of the picture. Um, I hear you, and I want you to know you are worthy. You're worthy of trying the self-love, the self-worth, the self-belief. You are worthy. You are worthy. You may not feel it right now, but I promise you, you are worthy. Okay? You are so loved and you are so important. And I'm very proud of you for still breathing, still being here, and I'm proud of you for trying. I'm proud of you for trying. I just felt like that was on my heart to share. Someone's listening right now who needs to hear
Very
that.
much so. So beautiful. A
Yeah.
huge part of self worth is learning to invest in yourself. If you are here
Yes.
listening to this right now, you are investing in yourself. It
Yes.
does not take big monetary
Mm.
actions to invest in yourself every day. If you were listening to something like this for free every day, if you were listening to podcasts, books, if you can have a moment where you make yourself a beautiful cup of tea, that's mine. I'm a little biased on this practice just to sit and enjoy and honor your body in that way and your mindset in that way. Anything you are doing in little moments each day that is honoring yourself, that is a big piece of building self worth. And it is okay if you are building self worth and self belief from the ground up. You can start
Mhm.
from zero, you can start from negative 10.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yes. Oh,
can.
yes.
You can. And I
Beautiful.
promise, even if it doesn't feel
Mhm.
nice, it doesn't. It kind of feels like, "Oh, this is not for me," because again, we get into our comfort zones, and sometimes our comfort zones are not that comfortable if we could just
Right.
take a look,
Mhm.
really. And so when we start getting out of our comfort zone and into this bit of a growth zone, there's parts of our brain that are like, "Oh, no, this does not feel good. You need
Yeah.
to go hide back in your comfort zone." But if you can just start taking these small, just little sustainable steps for yourself, you can not only get past 0, you can build and build and build. And it is okay if it is like 0.1% a day because
Yes.
the compound effect is in your favor. If you can build 0.1% a day
Mhm.
rather than 100% once a week,
Mhm.
I will bet on the person who can give me a 30% day every day. I will bet on that person every time rather than the person who gives me spotty 100% days.
Right. Right.
So if
Mm.
you only have 30% to give on the average day, guess what? That is your 100%. That is
Yes.
you giving 100% of what you have to give. Our 100% looks different every day. Sometimes you
Oh,
only have
yes.
30%. And if you
Yes.
can give that 30% to what you're doing, to what you believe in, to what you are building to yourself, then
Yes.
you are winning. You
Yes.
really are.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's a folks who've been listening for multiple seasons. Does that not remind you of season 5? Um, you know, when it was either me or someone else had mentioned, yeah, it was me. I remember the episode. Um, about how like, today your 100% could look like 30% tomorrow.
That's right.
Or Did I say that right? No, today's 30%. I forgot what I did. I said some percentage, but I was like, it may, to someone else, it may look like 10%, but to you, if in that day, that could be your 100%, and you're doing amazing. You're doing amazing. Like, it's just like, yeah, like for at least for me, my like 100% look different. Like today, it looks like 100% today looks like 60%, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest. It looks like 60% on compared to a day last week. But I know that it's my 100%. I know that. And there's some days, y'all, where I'm just like, I got about 3%, and I know that's 100
Yeah.
to me. Yeah, so I
And if you
think
can
that's so
show up and give
beautiful.
100% of that 3%, you're gonna build self-belief and self-worth genuinely. If you have things on
Exactly.
your list that you wanna do every day, make sure you have a minimum of that thing,
Yeah.
right? Where you just it's like,
Mm,
"I just need to check the box today." It doesn't have to look good, it doesn't have to be good, it doesn't have to
mm,
feel good, I just need to check the box today. That is how you will build self-belief, especially on those days where you don't wanna do the thing. Allow yourself to do it half-ass and poorly, but get the thing
yes.
done, and it will build. Again, better. I will take that person giving that 3 to 30% as much as they can every day,
Yeah,
even if it's just checking the box and getting it done very
yes.
poorly. I will take that person every day than the person who gives me 100% days once in a while.
Yeah. Oh, this is just beautiful. And folks, this is why I'm releasing this episode tonight. Um, I'm releasing this episode tonight. This is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. Amy, I can tell my laptop's about to do this thing again.
Oh, no.
Yes, yes. I think it's because it is overheating. I think that's why. And if it is the overheating, that's literally on me. I just didn't. It's on me. I know that it's on me. I know what I can do differently next time. Yeah, I know
There
I
you
can
go.
do differently.
Pivot.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yes, so folks, thank y'all for joining us. Thank you, Amy, for joining us. Folks, I like to do, well, before I offer a little challenge to everyone, because I always like to end an episode with a little challenge. Amy, is there anything else that you would like to say? Any goodbyes, any hellos to anyone, anything?
I mean, both. Hello, goodbye. Thank you for being here. I'm glad we went over self-belief in the detail we did because I do believe it is the most important of the pillars. And maybe
Yeah.
we'll come back again together and do more of self-worth. I would love that so much if you wanted to do like a part 2 or something
I would
someday.
love to. Yes, that's the thing. I was going to for season 8. Right now it's season 7. For season 8, I would love to have you back on. Yeah, depending on like how August is looking, I might reach out to have you on for the end of this season. But as things are looking right now, yeah, season 8 for sure.
That's exciting. Whatever you need, you just keep me posted. I'm happy to support you. I love everything that you were doing. Thank you for what you were putting out into the world, and thank you so much for having me.
I received that. Thank you, Amy. Folks, before we leave, folks, y'all know I like to do a little challenge. So today's challenge, and I know I say this a lot, but today's challenge is whether it's yourself or someone else, text or tell 1 to 2 people, yourself can be included, that you are worthy and that you are important. You never know who needs to hear it. You just never, 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 ever know. Right? So, do that. I'll do that right now. I'll tell myself that because I need to hear it today. So I'll be telling myself that, and I'll tell another person. Yes. Amy, you are worthy.
Thank you.
You are worthy. You're very
Thank
important,
you.
and I'm glad that you exist. And I truly, truly, truly mean that.
Oh, that makes me so happy. I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay, folks, this has been another episode of Vulnerability Time. Remember to check out um, more about Amy in the episode description below. And I will see y'all next episode for whatever that will be. Get on out of here, folks.